Broadcasting live from Jackson and State in Chicago's Loop, it's Radio DePaul Sports and Entertainment.
You're listening to RDSE, where sports and showbiz meet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard for the first show of the spring quarter. 2 weeks off. It's been really rough recently for my Sacramento Kings, so we're just going to get right in to the Sacramento Kings in the last 2 week stretch. The Kings are 1-6 in their last 7 games since the last show, and I will give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. They did play a lot of really tough teams in this stretch, but I mean, there's some wins that we should have had and we need to have if we want to continue to hold on to this final play-in spot. So we lost to the Bulls, who super fun recently. Not much to say about them. They've just been really fun to watch recently. Been playing with a lot of momentum. Then we play the Bucks. Again, tough game. Giannis, Dame. Then we play the Celtics. So again, another tough team that we have to play. Then we play the Thunder. So those 4 games, that 4-game stretch, yes, I would have liked us to win one of those games, probably the Bulls game, after we had just beat the Grizzlies and the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I would have liked to see us win that game against the Bulls. But the Bucks, Celtics, and Thunder game, not much we could say about that. But we come out, we then beat the Trailblazers at home, and now we're on our away stretch. These last 3 games coming into the show, we lost to the Orlando Magic, where we got beat by 30 against a team that can't score the ball. And then in this game, we couldn't score the ball. We scored 91 points. Not like a Sacramento Kings team. Usually we're 110, 115, 120 in that range. Like, that's been the Sacramento Kings of the last couple seasons, is no defense, but we can score the ball. This game, complete opposite on the offensive end. Defensive end, still can't stop anybody. And then this game, I mean, they only had 2 people score. They only had 5 people score in double digits and 2 people score 20+. And we still can't beat a team like the Orlando Magic. And then we go close game against the Indiana Pacers, who are another really solid team in the Eastern Conference. Not much to say about this game. I mean, obviously I would have liked us to win this game as well. But, I mean, Pacers, tough team. It was a close game. And, I mean, they were without Miles Turner, though, so I would have liked to see Sabonis really take over this game and will us down the stretch. But he had 25 and 16 rebounds, so he had a solid game. DeMar had a solid game. Levine had a iffy game, but just we can't. This has been the story of being a Sacramento Kings fan this last couple seasons since the Mike Brown hiring, which I'm not going to take anything away. I'm glad we're in the position where we're actually winning games. Before the Mike Brown hiring, we were in just no man's land. There was nothing to look forward to. No games were really going our way. Nothing was really going our way. A lot of bad draft picks. De'Aaron was our only guy that was kind of a consistent guy that kind of just gave fans a glimmer of hope. Then we draft Tyrese Haliburton, and he was all right with the Sacramento Kings first half of the season. But then we trade him for Sabonis, and Sabonis and De'Aaron, they connect, and we make it to the playoffs, and we're a super fun team, super high-scoring team, second in the Western Conference that one season with Mike Brown his first year where he won unanimous Coach of the Year. But, I mean, ever since then, play-in last year, got beat by the Pelicans. Now we're looking at possibly another play-in with Mike Brown also being fired this season. It's been tough the last couple of years. I'm not going to be like, I wish it never happened, because, I mean, we went 16 straight years without even making the playoffs, and we were we didn't even just jump into the play-in. We jumped into the playoffs, and we were a top team. But then, a couple nights ago, we lose to the Washington Wizards, giving them their 17th win of the season, which, it's just such a pain. Like, this Sacramento Kings team does not deserve to make the playoffs. We really don't even deserve to make the play-in at this point. Like, there's just no will, there's no effort from a lot of the guys. I get, like, again, Sabonis has been struggling recently with injuries, but he's been back for a solid stretch of time now. And, like, the team just doesn't look good. DeMar, like, he's still scoring the ball, but I mean, it just reminds me a lot of the Chicago Bulls from the last couple seasons and how they have been stuck in mediocrity with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. They were stuck with those two guys, but now we're stuck with DeMar and Zach LaVine and a foreign center in Sabonis, and they had Vucevic. Like, we're just stuck in mediocrity, and this is the worst thing to be in, to be honest. The Kings and the Bulls are so similar the last couple years. Bulls, top seed in the Eastern Conference. Then Lonzo gets injured. All their guys get injured. Then they fall down. They've been in the play-in the last couple seasons. Kings, I mean, somewhat similar. We were at second seed in the Western Conference. Almost beat the Warriors. Took 10-7 in our first year in the playoffs in a very long time. Had possibly a chance to win that if Harrison Barnes hits that left wing 3 against the Warriors. We would have been up 3-0 and possibly win that series. But, I mean, enough from that. Enough from the past with the Sacramento Kings. Something needs to change in the offseason. Vivek Radadive, Monty McNair, whoever our head coach is going to be, if it's going to be Doug Christie or there's a chance we get somebody else that's going to be in the coaching carousel this offseason. Whoever that person is, and if we even decide to bring back Monty McNair, they really need to come together this offseason and figure out what direction we're going with. And I know Vivek really wants us to be in the play-in, in the playoffs. He wants to bring a lot of energy to the Golden One Center because when the Kings are good, the Golden One Center is one of the best arenas to be in the league. That year with Mike Brown, his first year, highest attendance in the league. Multiple games where the crowd was the loudest in NBA history. I just always remember, and I get goosebumps from it, was when Kevin Huerter hit that game winner and just the whole Golden One Center was going crazy, going ballistic after that shot. You couldn't even hear the announcers on the broadcast. You couldn't even hear them. That's how loud the arena was. I want the Kings to be back to that. And now, the last 2 seasons, there's been glimpses of it. There's been, like, somewhat bright spots. But, I mean, we whiffed on... I'm not going to say we whiffed on Devin Carter because he did start the season injured. I think he could be solid. He's not going to be anything super special, anything that's going to be really game-changing. He's going to be a solid rotational piece for the Kings once he gets in those rotations consistently because he's a 3-and-D guy, more on the defensive end. Like he'll give us some really solid minutes when he's in the game, and he's shown that in a couple games this season. I remember the Cavs game. He had a really good game that game. One of the reasons why we beat the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. But we don't have a draft pick this year. So Atlanta owns our draft pick this season due to the Kevin Huerter trade, which is really just killing us right now that we gave up first-round pick. I think we might have given up 2 first-round picks for Kevin Huerter, and now he's not even on the team. And when he was on the team, he was very inconsistent. He was 45% three-point shooter one year, 33% the next year. So, and he's looked good in Chicago this small stretch that he's played for them, and I'm glad that somebody is getting use out of him and that Kevin Huerter can finally maybe he just needed to change the scenery, but that trade killed us to get Kevin Huerter, because then that trade turned into getting Zach LaVine, which brought us back to the whole LaVine, DeRozan, Bulls kind of era, and now we're in that era in Sacramento. And it just hasn't been a fun end to the season so far. I mean, there's still a chance we make the play-in, and if you're in the play-in, there's always a chance that you make the playoffs. We have 6 games left to end the regular season, and right now we are up 1 game on the Phoenix Suns, who are our biggest competition for that last play-in spot. So our final 6 games, tonight we have the Charlotte Hornets in Charlotte, no LaMelo Ball. This has to be a victory. If we cannot pull this game out, there's a chance we end the season going on a 9-game losing streak. Because after Charlotte, the games don't get any easier. Like, there's no games after the Charlotte game that's going to be easy. We then have Cleveland in Cleveland. Now, even if Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, all these guys aren't playing, there's still a chance Cleveland beats us. Ty Jerome is an amazing backup point guard. They have amazing depth. Their guys can just come in. It's what they've been doing all year. Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland's out, just throw somebody in there, and they're winning games. They're continuing to win games, and there's a chance we're playing their bench unit and we get smacked. Now, Charlotte should be a win. I'm going to say Cleveland is definitely going to be a loss. Detroit, they're fighting for positioning in the Eastern Conference. That's also going to be a loss. Now, we come into Denver, back at home. Final 3 games are at home, so that gives us a little bit of a chance. But, I mean, if Jokic is playing, Sabonis is not going to stop Jokic. He could slow him down a little bit, but this dude just had a 60-point triple-double this week. And they lost. But he's not letting that happen again. I'm saying we go on a 3-game losing streak after Charlotte. And then we play the Clippers, who are also in the play-in, fighting for playoff positioning. They're still going to be fighting for playoff positioning at this point in the season. Again, this is going to be a really tough game. Now, this is a game we have a chance at beating. I will also say Detroit, we have a chance at beating them, but it's a very slim chance. The Clippers, I think we have a chance at beating them. I'm not going to say it's closer to 50% with the Clippers. But again, they have Harden. They have Kawhi Leonard. They have multiple guys that can just match up well against the Sacramento Kings. And at that point, they could take DeMar DeRozan. They could take Zach LaVine out of the game. Sabonis is going to be guarded by Zubac. Zubac is going to lock down Sabonis if they're in a win, not like a needed win game. The Clippers, they have a lot of energy right now. Just saw recently, I think it was this week, that they were wearing Ivica Zubac shirts, and then it said, definition, Defensive Player of the Year. That's the kind of energy the Clippers are coming in to the end of the season with. And then the final game, we got Phoenix. Phoenix is that team we're fighting for that last play-in spot. Now we have a 1-game advantage over them. So this final game, Sunday, April 13th, against the Phoenix Suns is going to be the biggest game of the season for the Sacramento Kings if we're going to be in the play-in or not. Now, we'll look at the Suns' schedule, but really there's a solid chance that the Kings win 1 game in their last 6. And it's tonight against Charlotte, but if tonight against Charlotte starts rocky, there's a chance we don't win a single game. There's also a chance that we win 4 or 5 games in this final stretch due to people sitting out, getting ready for the playoffs. So it could be a very rocky situation we are in right now. And we really rely on people sitting out, people missing games, people, I don't know, we just start off really hot and the team's just like, yeah, we're not going to play our starters in the second half because, we're down by 20 going in the second half and there's no chance of risking a injury to a guy like Tobias Harris or Nikola Jokic or Russell Westbrook. But then for the Phoenix Suns, they have 6 games remaining as well. We have a 1-game lead over them as of right now. Tonight, they play the Boston Celtics in Boston. It's going to be a super tough game for them. Boston's still fighting for Cleveland for that top spot, even though I think Cleveland's going to lock it up. But Boston still has a chance of getting that. Then they have New York on Sunday, which I think that's one of the games that they will probably steal because I don't think the Knicks will really run their starters a lot that game. Then they have Golden State, who's fighting for playoff positioning right now, fighting to stay out of the play-in, fighting to just be a better seed, get a better matchup. Then they got OKC, who is just going to run out their bench unit, so they'll probably win that game. Then they have San Antonio. They're going to run out a lot of their young guys. They could cause some havoc at times, but that should be another game the Phoenix Suns clean up very easily. And then it gets to Sacramento. So for the Suns, there's a chance that outside of Boston, they could win 4 games going in, or 4 games going into the Sacramento game. And even that, they'll probably be on a 2-game winning streak coming into the Sacramento game. But again, Phoenix has been really rocky this season. But you just, they are at the bottom. They're out of the play-in. There's a reason why they're out of the play-in. But there's also the idea that they have Kevin Durant, and they have Devin Booker, and they have Bradley Beal, and they have all these guys. They have a lot of talent, and just focus on Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Those guys could go off this last week and a half of the regular season, and there's a chance they win all these games because they have guys like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker that a lot of teams can't guard. And then, even if we're in a win or go to the play-in game, win or go home basically for the final game of the regular season, there's a chance that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, they go off for 30, 40 points because we have nobody to stop them. I love Keon Ellis, great defender. He's not stopping Devin Booker. Love Keegan Murray. He's not going to stop Kevin Durant. If it's a win or go home game against Sacramento, I want to pick my Kings, but I feel more confident in the Phoenix Suns beating the Kings in that win or go home game. And it sucks to say because I want the Kings to obviously be in the play-in, give us something to look forward to, give us a chance really at the playoffs because, right now, just looking at the standings right now, we would play Dallas in the first round of the play-in. There's a very solid chance we could beat Dallas. Sabonis has always had an amazing record against Anthony Davis. At one point, he was 12-0 against Anthony Davis. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the record is against each other, but Sabonis really has Anthony Davis's number, and there's a solid chance DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, any one of those guys could have an amazing game, and we beat Dallas. But then in that second round, we'll either have to play Minnesota or the Clippers, both teams that kind of deserve to be in the playoffs more than Sacramento. But also, if we play the Clippers, you also got to remember, we have DeMar DeRozan and we have Zach LaVine, and we have Domantas Sabonis. But the Clippers and the Timberwolves, they match up really well against us. Great centers, solid defenders, with Timberwolves having Anthony Edwards could slow down Zach LaVine. And they have Jalen McDaniels, who could basically take DeMar DeRozan out of the game. He's one of the best defenders in the league. Clippers, they got Kawhi Leonard, could absolutely lock down DeMar DeRozan in a win-or-go-home game. They got just solid pieces around, Derrick Jones Jr., all those guys. So it's going to be really tough if Sacramento wants to make the playoffs. Play-in, I think if we get in the play-in, we have a really solid chance at winning one game. I'm not super confident in us winning 2 games. But also, I mean, this is a very long stretch. But if Sacramento and Phoenix kind of dud out to the end of the season, I mean, Kings are on a 3-game losing streak. Suns are on a 4-game losing streak. I mean, Portland's only 2.5 games back from Sacramento right now and a game and a half back from the Suns. There's a chance that, I mean, Portland, if they get hot to end the season, I mean, just looking at their schedule, they got the Bulls tonight. Kind of a favorable matchup tonight out of the 3 teams. They got San Antonio, who's going to be resting a lot of their starters. They got Utah, who's going to be out with a lot of their guys. Just going to be running a lot of the young guys. Golden State in the final second to last game of the season. They're probably not going to be playing a lot of their guys. The Lakers to end the season, LeBron and Luka are probably just going to play the first half if they really need to. I mean, there's really a chance, and they're already on a 2-game winning streak going in. There's a chance that the Trailblazers end the season on a 7-game winning streak. And even if they don't, they get 4 or 3 games out of these last 5, there's still a chance they jump up and they pass the Suns and they pass the Kings. And honestly, as a fan of the Kings, I know it sucks to say, but I don't know. I might rather see Portland in the play-in. Super young team. Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, Scoot Henderson, Donovan Klingman. I mean, those are a lot of young guys. Denny Avdia's having an amazing season this year. I mean, they'd be a fun team to watch in the play-in in a win-or-go-home game. Chauncey Billups gets to keep his job. I mean, I think he should still keep his job at this point, unless they're going after who we'll talk about after a quick commercial break in a couple minutes. But, I mean, Portland could be a super fun team to watch. So, watch out for Portland. Watch out for the Suns. Watch out for the Kings to end the regular season if you really want to figure out who's going to be at the bottom of the Western Conference. Now, just to keep with the Western Conference theme before we take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the Eastern Conference a little bit and how that's shaping up. Right now, the Thunder are locked as the 1 seed. The Rockets have also locked a playoff berth with 50 wins. First 50-win Rocket team since 2018-2019 with James Harden. Been a super fun team to watch. Then you got the Nuggets right below them. Lakers, Warriors, Grizzlies are the teams in the play-in or playoffs right now. Now, Memphis and Minnesota have the same record, and the Clippers are half a game back. So there's still a fight between Golden State, Memphis, Minnesota, and the Clippers for those final 2 playoff spots. Western Conference is going to be super fun to watch these last 6 games. I think the Warriors will be a lock for that for the 5th seed, I think. And then we get to see, most likely, unless the Nuggets fall to the 4 seed, which they're only half a game ahead of the Lakers, I would rather see LeBron and Luka versus Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green. I'd rather see that series more than Golden State versus Denver, because Denver and Golden State are 2 of those sneaky teams that if they get hot, they could beat the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. So either one of those teams. And then I think the Timberwolves might lock up that 6th seed and the Grizzlies will fall to the play-in. Just because, like we'll talk about after the commercial break, the Taylor Jenkins fire, they haven't been great. They had a late-game heroics last night to beat the Heat, who have been really bad as of late, and they won. Well, not to say as of late, but Miami has been great since the trade deadline. And the Grizzlies, they just fired their head coach. Taylor Jenkins is now going to be on the coaching market. And they haven't been great since that, so we'll see. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back, talk about the Eastern Conference, and then we'll talk about Taylor Jenkins firing and a couple other talking points for the final 2 weeks of the NBA season. We'll be right back here. This has been Beyond the Scoreboard, presented by RDSE.
Max Strus curling right side, drills the jumper. See what Strus does. He looks like he wants to shoot. I was kind of hoping he'd pull up there, and one. Floater was wet. Strus is loose. Curl three. Bang. You know it.
My goodness. Strus on the other end gets it to fall and one.
Now up top, he's got a double team. Now it's just Figueroa on him. Nice move. Quick move.
Wow.
Out of control.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, he was out of control.
Max
He finished off
Strus.
glass.
That is a new career high for Max Strus. He had 34 earlier this year. He's got 35 now.
You're listening to Radio DePaul Sports, the student voice of your DePaul Blue Demons.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard, presented by RDSE. And like I said, we're going to talk about the Eastern Conference after the commercial break. And, you heard Max Strus, the Max Strus audio. Got to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think if they win their next game, they clinch the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. With a game against the Spurs tonight, they have a really solid chance of winning this. They're already on a 2-game winning streak coming in this game. I think if they beat the Spurs tonight, since they are up 5 games on the Cleveland Cavaliers, or on the Boston Celtics, there's a really solid chance that they clinch the playoffs, or clinch the number 1 seed tonight. So with 6 games left in the regular season, 5 games back, it's just either tonight or their next game is where they clinch the playoffs and that number 1 seed in. They've kind of been shaky to end the season, 5-5 in their last 10, but the Cleveland Cavaliers are the Cleveland Cavaliers. We can't take anything away from them. 61 wins right now. They'll probably most likely end around 64, 65, and just can't take anything away from them. They've been amazing all year. Multiple double-digit winning streaks this season, so they're going to be one of the teams to look out for. The contenders in the Eastern Conference. Then Boston Celtics are right behind them. Second seed, they'll most likely be the second seed in the Eastern Conference unless they go on a crazy stretch at the end of the season and the Cleveland Cavaliers drop all their games. But they have an 8-game lead on the New York Knicks, so they're locked into the top 2 spots. I think they're going to finish with the second seed. Then you got the Knicks at the 3 seed, and then you got Indiana at the 4 seed. These are the 4 teams that have locked their position in the Eastern Conference playoffs. All 4 teams really solid, really good teams. Indiana, New York, super iffy teams on what they could do this season in the playoffs, depending on injuries, especially with the Knicks. Brunson's been banged up. Bridges asking for minutes restrictions for some of the starters. It's going to be rough to see the Knicks in the playoffs. Then the 5th and the 6th seed right now are the Milwaukee Bucks and the Detroit Pistons, who are going to be fighting for that 5th seed. Either one of these teams that gets that 5th seed and gets to play the Indiana Pacers, it's going to be a super fun series. Pacers already have some bad blood. We already know about the Bucks, Pacers beef they've had the last 2 seasons and all of this season. Both series are going to be really good. They're going to be super physical, a lot of bad blood, a lot of pushing and shoving at the end of timeouts, at the end of games. Both of these teams, all 3 of these teams, have some hatred going into this playoff series. I want to see Detroit versus the Indiana Pacers, but can't say no to Giannis versus the Indiana Pacers either. Then after that, we have Orlando, Atlanta, Miami, and Chicago in the play-in for the Eastern Conference. Now, Chicago, super fun to end the season. I think they're going to beat Miami in that first round of the play-in because I feel more confident in Kobe White having an amazing game. I feel more confident in Patrick Williams being able to lock up some guys. Josh Giddey having an amazing game. They've been super fun to watch to the end of the season. Modest Buzelis has been really good for them once he's got his minutes. The Heat, they were really bad after the trade deadline, but now, I mean, they've turned it around a little bit, 6-4 in their last 10. The Hawks, I think Orlando will take care of the Hawks and get that 7th seed, which is not good for them because they're going to have to play Boston. But, I mean, any team that makes it out of the play-in is not winning in the first round. That's just what's going to happen. I mean, Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, Orlando, they're not beating the Cavs or the Celtics. So it's just who you'd rather see in the first round and who can maybe make it a little interesting. I would like to see Orlando against Boston, and I would also like to see Chicago against Cleveland because I think Chicago could maybe mix up some games a little bit. And they've had a lot of momentum coming into the last couple weeks of the season, so they'll be super fun to watch. Nobody else is battling for the play-in spot. I mean, Toronto, Brooklyn, Philly, Charlotte, and the Wizards have all been eliminated from play-in contention. So that's what I have for the Eastern Conference. Not much to say. It's kind of been the same as of late. Just watch out for Milwaukee and Detroit these last couple games. Detroit, they got Toronto tonight, then Memphis, then Sacramento again, then the Knicks, then Milwaukee twice to end the season. So Milwaukee twice to end the season is going to be super fun to watch. Who's going to get that final spot? Because it could all come down to those two games. And if, let's say, Detroit is down 2 games going in to the game against Milwaukee on Friday, April 11th, if they win that game, there's a solid chance that they beat the Milwaukee in Milwaukee to get that 5th seed. So that'll be fun to watch the end of the season. Some other things I have to talk about today. Grizzlies and Ja Morant and Taylor Jenkins and that whole kind of drama that's been brewing in Memphis as of late. I mean, I was at home over break just scrolling, and then out of nowhere the ESPN notification pops up that Taylor Jenkins has been fired. And I look and I'm like, Taylor Jenkins has been fired? There's, what? I had to count up my fingers. I was like, there's 3 weeks left in the regular season. Why is he getting fired so late? Now, it hasn't been confirmed as of the reason why he's been fired. There's talks of the fact that Ja Morant didn't like how the offense was going, so there was a little bad blood between them two. Then there's the whole Isolo, their assistant head coach, who they promoted to interim head coach at the end of the season and for the playoffs, is one of the top candidates for the coach carousel coming into this offseason. And maybe the Grizzlies just really wanted to lock him up, be able to keep him for next season, and just sign him to a super long-term contract as their head coach, because he's brought back a lot more pick and rolls that Ja Morant has said he likes to have the offense centrated around. And I mean, they were rough his first couple games, which, I mean, obviously you make a move with a coach so late in the season. They went on a 4-game losing streak, but all 4 games really solid teams: the Thunder, the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Warriors. But then even last night, they didn't look great against the Heat, and they won it off of a Ja Morant game winner, kind of chuck-up floater over Khalil Ware. So, again, they haven't looked great. They're still not looking great, even in a win against the lower seed Miami Heat team. So, we'll see how the season ends. I mean, a lot of DNPs last night. Marvin Bagley III didn't play. Gigi Jackson didn't play, who Gigi Jackson has really struggled this season, even though he had an amazing year last year at 18. So we'll see how the season ends. And, I mean, for the Grizzlies, Taylor Jenkins, he's an amazing coach. I really like what Taylor Jenkins has done with the Grizzlies his last couple years there. He's brought them to the playoffs, brought them to the play-in, was winning games without Ja Morant. Not a lot of guys can say that they were winning more games without their star player than with their star player on a similar amount of games. So I think Taylor Jenkins is an amazing head coach. He's going to be the number one head coaching hire this offseason. A lot of teams are going to be going after him. I mean, if Sacramento doesn't decide to bring back Doug Christie, which I'm iffy on if I want Sacramento to bring back Doug Christie because I think he's been good at points. Maybe it's just the fact of he's so young to being a head coach, and maybe he's just not, and the team isn't great that he inhabited. I mean, De'Aaron Fox wanted out, so it's tough for Doug Christie, but I mean, if Taylor Jenkins is on the market, I mean, he's a great defensive-minded head coach, which you bring him into an offensive-minded system. I mean, it could change a lot, and I think he will play a lot more defensive-minded guys like Keon Ellis, get Keegan Murray into a more defensive role. Devin Carter next season could be amazing in the role that Taylor Jenkins could have for him. So if I'm picking going into next season, I'd rather us go out and try to sign Taylor Jenkins. But I don't know if he'll really take our job because, I mean, there's talks that DeMar and Domantas Sabonis are both going to have talks with Monte McNair and Vivek Randive this offseason to see the direction the team's going in, what's going to happen. And, I mean, there's a solid chance that we lose both of them in the offseason because they don't want to play for Sacramento because either we just stay in mediocrity, we don't sign anybody, we don't try to make a big coaching hire like Taylor Jenkins. I think if we hire Taylor Jenkins, there's a really solid chance Sabonis and DeMar both come back next season. We make some defensive-minded adjustments in the free agency. We already have Jake LaRavia, who is a big part of Taylor Jenkins' rotations in Memphis. So hopefully if we could get Taylor Jenkins, it could calm the nerves, calm some things in Sacramento. But honestly, if we keep Doug Christie, there's probably a solid chance DeMar and Domantas Sabonis both want out. So we'll see what goes on with that. And then, again, I want to speak on Ja Morant. Ja Morant, please learn from your actions. Please. You just been fined $75,000 for finger guns after you were warned against the Warriors not to make finger gun motions. When are you going to learn? When are you going to learn? There's no reason for you to be doing it. Like, I get people do it. It's not anything crazy to make a finger gun. A lot of people do it. But when you have the resume of Ja Morant and what he's been suspended for and what he's gotten in trouble for, why are you continuing to put yourself in that position where you're just looked down upon by so many people in the NBA world? Now, I know Ja Morant is still a big guy for the younger generations. I love Ja Morant. I know plenty of people that love Ja Morant. They don't care about his off-the-court issues. They don't care about him making finger gun motions at players. But please just learn. That doesn't make you a better basketball player, and it doesn't make you liked by more people because you put up finger guns. Stop. Just learn. Like, I don't understand what the NBA needs to do for you to learn to not do that. Because they warned you after the Warriors game to not do it. And then what do you do against the Heat? You do it twice. When are you going to learn, Ja Morant? When are you going to learn? There was no reason for it. There's absolutely no reason for it. You don't need to be doing it. It makes me so angry because Ja Morant is always going to be looked down upon by so many guys in the NBA media world, especially the older generation who they look down upon a lot of guys for their off-the-court issues. And then you have off-the-court issues and you fix those. And you're past that, hopefully. I don't exactly know you as a person, Ja Morant, but hopefully you're past that area of your life. And now you're in the position where you're just doing finger guns all the time and you've been warned and you didn't even wait a week. You didn't even wait a couple games. You did it the next game. At some point, something needs to change. Somebody in the Grizzlies organization really needs to get on him about it because at this point, it doesn't feel like anybody in the Grizzlies organization is really getting on him about it or even his agent. Whoever his agent is, I don't know exactly who it is. They need to be on Ja Morant about this. It's not making him a worse basketball player, but it's making people look down upon him. I don't want that for any player. People still talk about Javaris Critton. He's been out of the league for 20 years. People still talk about him. People still look down upon him for the things he did off the court. That's all they're ever going to do. Ja Morant is always going to be known as the guy that was doing all these off-the-court issues. Then he goes and he does finger guns because he wants to do them. And, I know Ja Morant probably doesn't care what a lot of those guys have to say, but, it still doesn't make you look any better. And when you're a guy that has the resume of Ja Morant, you need to change. Something needs to change. Somebody needs to be on him. His agent needs to be on him. I just don't understand why nobody is, pushing this. Ja Morant's agent, I just looked it up, is Mike Miller. He's a former NBA player. Why is he not just drilling it into Ja Morant's head that you can't do those things? Or maybe he is, and Ja Morant is just continuing to do it. This makes me think that, I don't know, there's a lot of things that could come from this that his agent's telling him things to do, not to do, and he continues to do it. But, if he's going to continue to do that, what's going to stop him from doing all these other things that's going to hurt the team? It's going to put him in bad situations, if it doesn't work out in Memphis and he has to go into free agency, there's not going to be teams calling his name if they know he doesn't even listen to his agent. So that's my rant about Ja Morant and what's been up with him the last couple of nights. Final couple things I have to talk about. Kevin Durant, where will he end up this offseason? Knicks, Timberwolves, Heat, Rockets, and Spurs are all potential landing spots right now for Kevin Durant. He's most likely going to want out of Phoenix. It's still Devin Booker's team. He's going to stay in Phoenix. And it'll be very interesting to see where Kevin Durant goes. I would like to see him on Houston. Super fun team, younger team. They just need a pure scorer to go out there, average 25 a game, 22 a game. Kevin Durant could do that. Even at his age, he could still do that. And, they have the picks. They have young guys that they could send Phoenix's way that could help them. I think it would be an amazing trade for both teams. But, I mean, we're not in the offseason yet, so we're not going to speak on where Kevin Durant will go yet. But those are things that we could be in the air. Spurs could also be a team. They have picks. They have multiple stars that are could be in a win now mode, with Victor Wembanyama still being on his rookie contract. So this is the best time to bring in a guy that is a superstar alongside De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama. And if they decide to bring back Chris Paul, and they got Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson and Jeremy Sohan, got a lot of guys. Picks could just go to the Suns. Suns just need to load up on young talent, build up around Devin Booker again, and see where that takes them. But Rockets or Spurs right now are where I would like to see Kevin Durant land. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA draft coming up soon. And I mean, the NCAA tournament is about to end soon. The final four games are tomorrow. Got Florida versus Auburn, Houston versus Duke, and then the national championship game is on Monday. So after that, we'll have a solid clue of where some more guys are going to be going. Right now, the top three for the number one overall pick is Utah, Washington, and Charlotte. Now, out of those three teams, if Cooper Flag decides to enter his name into the NBA draft, out of those three teams, I'd like to see Utah get Cooper Flag. They got Lauri Markkanen, they got Isaiah Collier, Kyle Filipowski, Walker Kessler, Colin Sexton. They have a lot of good, solid pieces there. And I think Danny Ainge is an amazing GM, very well-respected GM. So hopefully he could land a superstar in the draft. Washington, Charlotte, neither one of those teams deserve Cooper Flag. And they will get Cooper Flag, and they will probably he won't turn into what he should be. With Utah, I think he could turn into an absolute star. And, I mean, amazing fit in Utah. Could just come in, just start winning games immediately, help Utah get to that next level. And if they get Cooper Flag, I mean, there's a solid chance Utah could be a play-in team next year. Washington, Charlotte, they're still a very far ways. Charlotte, from just name standpoint, I mean, LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams, those are some solid names. Those are some big names. You add Cooper Flag to that, I mean, that's a really good team. But, I mean, still, they don't really deserve him. LaMelo Ball, I still don't think he is deserving of a superstar name until he can actually start winning some games, but that's my take. New Orleans definitely doesn't deserve him. Still are in figuring out what they're going to do with Zion, who was their lottery pick from a couple of years ago. So, and then Philly, Brooklyn, Toronto. These teams, I think they have needs that could be fulfilled. I'm just going to run a quick lottery. So in this one, it had Cooper Flag going to Philly. So I had Philly jumping all the way up to the number one pick, which there's always a chance. I mean, the Bulls got Derrick Rose with a 1% chance. So there's always a chance that one of these teams that have a lower odds gets up to that number one pick. So in this random lottery, Cooper Flag goes first to Philly, which would be terrible for the league, to be honest. Terrible to listen to Philadelphia 76ers fans, but it'd be good for him. Come in, got an ex-MVP in Joel Embiid. You got Paul George, if he continues to stay, that you could learn from. And you got another young star two young stars in Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. So that'd be fun to see from Cooper Flagg. Then they have Dylan Harper going to Utah, Ace Bailey going to the Wizards, and then VJ Edgecombe going to the Charlotte Hornets. All solid picks. All would come in, be immediate impacts for these teams. Some other teams that I want to highlight, number 6, it has Brooklyn taking Kaman Maluwak. I really want to see Kaman Maluwak go to Toronto, because if Toronto could get Kaman Maluwak, they got Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, then they have Scotty Barnes, and then they fill out that 5-man role with Kaman Maluwak. That would be amazing to see. It has the Raptors taking Trey Johnson, who also another amazing scoring, but then I think he would have to come off the bench unless they decide to move on from RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickley. But they also have Grady Dick off the bench, so those two guys could make a big scoring punch off the bench. Some other teams I like to highlight. Number 10, it has the Bulls getting Derek Queen, which I think would be super fun to watch. Had an amazing March Madness at that game winner. Jeremiah Fears, the 11th pick to Miami, could be huge. One of the youngest guys in the draft out of Oklahoma, the freshman point guard, was really turning on in March Madness, had 20.4 points this season and about 5 assists and 2 steals. He was super fun to watch this year. Jason Richardson's son, going 12th to the Rockets. From the Suns pick, that could also be fun. And then, Kings, they don't have their draft pick this year, which is going to be sad to see, especially if we don't even make the play-in or the playoffs. But, where we're going to be picking, 14th, probably be around 12 to 16. All these guys, don't really see how they would come in unless we decide to buy into a rebuild mode, which we're probably not going to. So I'm not super disappointed that we're going to be missing out on some of these guys. And Nick Clifford going to Atlanta at the 24th pick could also be big. The oldest guy that they have going in the first round at 23 and a half years old. So for him, he's going to be a later first round pick, but I think he could come in and be amazing for a team. They also have Cam Jones going 30th to the Clippers in this from the Thunder pick, so another older guy that could come in. Some of these international guys, don't know much about them right now. Haven't been really paying attention to the international guys as of late. So that's all I have today for you guys. It's been Beyond the Scoreboard presented by RDSE, and I am your host, Michael Lyons.